welcome back to our house. The song that I just played, which I open these shows with every night, is a song from my grandmother's generation called "Won't You Come Over to My House?" So I think it's appropriate to play that as we open these nightly evenings. I say nightly, but it's Monday through Friday. I have been really overwhelmed with the response that I've gotten from these programs. I've heard a lot from people in my family, a couple of generations ahead of me, who are the children and grandchildren, actually mostly grandchildren, of first cousins that have long since been gone. And these are adults now, of course, and many of them live far away. I live far away now. I'm from New England, and most of my family, what's left of them is up there, and but they're scattered all over the country, and I've lost touch with many of them, and they've gotten back to me, and it's very moving. They remember me from their childhood, and apparently they're pleasant memories because they've reconnected, and I couldn't be happier about it. I come from a family of rather working class parents. My father was a policeman, and my mother stayed home and raised 4 children and eventually worked for the state, that sort of bureaucratic job, but she was rather highly placed in it. And she was the 10th or the 9th of 11 children. I'm not sure which came first. But anyway, most of them had children, and so it was quite a big lot. And we were all on both sides Irish, American, but our grandparents, although not born in Ireland, were very influenced by it. I made my grandmother's year when I first played Galway Bay on the piano when I was 3. If I had played some Southern Methodist hymn, I probably would have been disinherited. But in any case, I had a lot of music in our lives, and we had parties all the time, and we sang a lot. And of course, I was the principal accompanist, and if there wasn't a piano, I could play the ukulele well enough to pass muster. And we sang song after song after song after song, and everybody knew the words. It's something that's, I think, sadly, pretty well gone now. But on Friday nights, at least some Friday nights, I've decided to try to bring it back a little bit. It's nostalgic for me. It gives the next generation or two in my family something to find out about, and maybe it'll give other people pleasure as well. When I was at Perkins School for the Blind, there was a fairly young teacher there who played the piano and sang songs. And he taught me several, one of which became the very favorite of every generation in my family. And here it is. Casey wore his brand new hat to Murphy's wake last night. Someone stole that hat, and boy, that started up a fight. Casey smashed the furniture, the radio as well. He nearly woke the corpse up when he began to yell. Oh, I had a hat when I came in, I hung it on the rack. I'll have a hat when I go out, or I'll break somebody's back. I'm a decent man, I am, and I don't want to shout. But I had a hat when I came in, and I'll have a hat when I go out. Casey kept on shouting and they couldn't keep him quiet. Some cop had to come in and stop off all the riot. 2 cops rushed into the room, but Casey laid them out. He fired them through the window. They both heard Casey shout, oh, I had a hat when I came in. I hung it on the rack. I'll have a hat when I go out, or I'll break somebody's back. I'm a decent man, I am, and I don't want to shout. But I had a hat when I came in, and I'll have a hat when I go out. Casey kept on shouting until One-Eyed Patty Flynn socked him in the whiskers with a great big rolling pin. It knocked poor Casey senseless, boy, it was an awful clout. As Casey lay unconscious, he kept on shouting out, oh, I had a hat when I came in, I hung it on the rack. I'll have a hat when I go out, or I'll break somebody's back. I'm a decent man, I am, and I don't want to shout. But I'll have a hat when I came in, and I'll have a hat when I go out. I'm beginning to sound old, I'm afraid, but that's the price. I should have had a drink. Anyway, we used to sing, as I say, songs by the hour, and I was asked by one of my cousins yesterday, I think I mentioned it last night, to play some of his grandmother's favorite stuff. And I'm going to play and sing, and hopefully you can sing along with it. I told you it was Sing Along with Helen night, and we'll see how it goes. This is pretty spontaneous, but here we go. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds from now on. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my, how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Not a soul down on the corner, that's a pretty certain sign. Those wedding bells are breaking up that old gang of mine. All the boys are singing love songs, they forgot sweet Adeline. Those wedding bells are breaking up that old gang of mine. There goes Jack and there goes Jim, down to Lover's Lane. Now and then we meet again, but they don't seem the same. Gee, I get that lonesome feeling when I hear those church bells chime. Those wedding bells are breaking up that old gang of mine. Heart of my heart, I love that melody. Heart of my heart brings back those memories when we were kids on the corner of the street. We were rough and ready guys, but oh how we could harmonize too. Heart of my heart meant friends were dearer then. Too bad we had to part. Now I know a tear would glisten If once more I could listen to that gang that sang Heart of My Heart. Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky. I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June or July. Snow time ain't no time to stay outdoors and spoon. So shine on, harvest moon for me and my gal. The bells are ringing for me and my gal. The birds are singing for me and my gal. Everybody's been knowing to a wedding they're going, and for weeks they've been sewing every Susie and Sal. They're congregating for me and my gal. The parson's waiting for me and my gal. And someday we're gonna build a little home for 2 or 3 or 4 or more in Loveland for me and my gal. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy over the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage, I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for 2. Casey would waltz with the strawberry blonde, and the band played on. He'd glide across the floor with the girl he adored, and the band played on. His brain got so loaded it nearly exploded. The poor girl would shake with alarm. He married the girl with the strawberry curl, and the band played on. We'll do some more later on. There were a couple of songs that I used to sing that they used to love, and they were written by Tom Lehrer, the great music comedian in the 50s and early 60s. I learned them from the same teacher, so I didn't know anything about Tom Lehrer when I learned it. But one of these is an Irish legend. About a maiden I'll sing a song, sing rickety-tickety-tin. About a maiden I'll sing a song, oh, she didn't have her family long. For not only did she do them wrong, but she did every one of them in. She did every one of them in. One morning when she had nothing to do, sing rickety-tickety-tin. One morning when she had nothing to do, she cut her baby brother in 2 and served him up as an Irish stew, and invited the neighbors in, invited the neighbors in. Her mother she could never stand, sing rickety-tickety-tin. Her mother she could never stand, and so a cyanide soup she planned. Her mother died with a spoon in her hand, and her face in a hideous grin, a grin, her face in a hideous grin. She set her sister's hair on fire, sing rickety-tickety-tin. She set her sister's hair on fire, and as the flames rose higher and higher, she danced around the funeral pyre, playing a violin, playing a violin. And when at last the police came by, sing rickety-tickety-tin. And when at last the police came by, her nice little deeds she could not deny, for in doing so she would have to lie. And lying she knew was a sin, and lying she knew was a sin. I'll take a rest for a while and do some Jerome Kern songs. Jerome Kern was a contemporary of Irving Berlin and Oscar Hammerstein, Richard Rodgers, and he wrote some magnificent music. They all did, but here's a little bit of his. As I mention every evening, I have been playing at a marvelous restaurant in Palm Beach called Café l'Europe, L''Europe. If you can find the Palm Beach Post in today's paper, there is a wonderful article about the restaurant, which, if we were able, we would be celebrating our 40th anniversary this month. But one night I was playing there, and I played Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, the last song I just played. And I was thinking when I was playing it that when I was around 10 or 11, I was listening to the Steve Allen show, which was on pretty late, later than I was supposed to be up, but I was probably entertaining people, and it was over. But anyway, they had the man on who wrote the lyrics to that beautiful song, and the lyrics are as beautiful as the music. And his name was Otto something. I couldn't remember it. I can't remember it now either. But he was 86 years old, and he recited the lyrics. And I never forgot it. And decades later, many decades later, I played the song at Café l'Europe, and a man came over and he said, "My father wrote the lyrics to that song." And I said, I can't believe you're telling me this. Your father's name was Otto, was it not? And he said, "Yes, it was. How did you know that?" And I said, I heard him on the Steve Allen show in 1950 something or other. And he said, "I was the producer for the Steve Allen show at that time, and that's why he came on. I can't believe you remembered that." And it's stuck with me, and I just thought I'd pass it along. I play and sing a lot of old music, but I am not immune from more current things as well. When I had the restaurant on the vineyard, I had to survive, I had to do more modern things, and I loved it. It was really fun. But just a couple of things. Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. I reminisce about the days of old, with that old time of rock and roll. Don't want to listen to the disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time of rock and roll. Still like that old time of rock and roll. Yesterday's music ain't got the same soul. I reminisce about the days of old, with that old time of rock and roll. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. This kind of love drives a boy insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. You came along and you moved my honey. You came along and took my money. Your love is mine, my love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby, ooh, feels good. Hold me, baby, I want to love her like a lover should. You're mine, so fine. Got to tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm a little nervous 'cause it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby, ooh, it feels good. Hold me, baby, should. You're mine, so fine. Got to tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm a little nervous cause it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Makes a difference when you don't have a sound system, I'm afraid. Poor workman blames his tools, I always heard, but anyway. It's fun for me. I hope you enjoy it. I think I'll do, how's the time here? Oh, we've got time. I'll do some James Taylor. His youngest brother was part of a group that consisted of two other people besides me and James Taylor's brother. And they played and sang with me on Wednesday nights, Tuesday or Wednesday nights, over about 10 years. And we had so much fun. We reminisce about it to this day. I'm still friends with, well, one of them has died, but I'm still friends, very close friends with the others. Livingston came in one night, and he listened in. He didn't want to perform with us. And he came up to me and he said, "You play the piano like a Chinaman cuts chicken." I'm not sure what that meant, but I think it was a compliment. So here's a little James. Oh, we still have a lot of time. Good. I think I'll do a few more of the old songs. I think I'm not going to sing them for a while. Next week I'll have a drink and I'll sound better. But maybe. But here's just a few more of the old snappy songs that I grew up with, and my parents grew up with, and some of them my grandparents grew up with. As I mentioned before, Café l'Europe is celebrating its 40th year. And for the last 10 or so of those years, they had partners. The original owners brought on 3 partners. And one of them was the great singer Vic Damone. I got to know him very well, I think. He was a wonderful man, and we had a lot of wonderful discussions about life and music and all kinds of things. And he told me that his first hit was a song called Ebb Tide, and I have played it over the decades, and I have, as my music sometimes is, a rather florid, flourishy arrangement of it. And I'm thinking of Vic, so I'm going to play it. I think I'll do my grandfather's favorite song. It's not very well known anymore, but I think it's a really pretty song. It's called Cruising Down the River. And whenever I was with my grandfather, I had to play it. Didn't ask much, but that was one thing he did ask. I'm going to play two of my favorite movie songs, and I'll put them together. And one of them is the theme from Romeo and Juliet, and the other is Dr. Zhivago. think I just have a little time for the last song, which of course, as always, is I'll Be Loving You Always. Claudette says I have 5 minutes, so I'm going to play, before I do that, a little version of the first song I ever played on a stage. I was 10 years old, and it was at St. Anne's Church in Quincy, Mass. And I don't know why I played it, but I had just learned it, and it's called Tenderly. I can still remember going out on that stage and feeling the crowd near me and the lights. Couldn't see them, but I could feel them. And I've become addicted to it ever since. I always knew right after that I wanted to be a performing pianist. And I have. I never thought I'd be performing like this, though. And loving it so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.